Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Lefty.
Hey, Lefty, what you say?
Any lingering residue of thoughts from that game before we start talking about Toledo?
Let's just not make every game with an unranked team that's me. I think this is a good week to mull over the excitement of what that game built and get back to playing football where we should and having convincing wins and getting back to that rhythm of things. I do think because of the excitement of last week and the overtime and the Florida State and all that stuff, I do think we'll start a little slow. Just because we started so hot, I don't ever see us starting hot like that 2 times in a row.
Right.
But I do think we'll win, especially have a better second half than first half. And this week, with the excitement of being at home for the first time in 2 years, all the fans, we'll start a little slow, but we'll finish strong against Toledo, in my opinion.
So Toledo comes in. This is, matter of fact, don't just think, oh, we're playing a MAC team.
No.
This is a very good MAC team. And they have 2 quarterbacks that will more than likely have to face. One who's more of a passer, one who's dual threat, can hurt you with the runs, can scramble, make plays just like Jordan Travis. They have some wide receivers that can get you deep down the field, make plays. But on the defensive side of the ball, which is probably their best side, they have playmakers at every level. And for me, that's going to be the challenge for this Notre Dame team. How do you attack? Now, this is the blessing, right? It's kind of similar to Jack Cohn can feel like Tom Brady this year. And this is what I mean by that. For years, Tom Brady has walked onto the field and had the privilege of saying, there's nobody they have that can stick that dude.
Yeah.
And that was Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't stick that dude.
There's nothing you can do with Michael Mayer for us.
And it's the same thing for Jack Cohn. There's nothing anybody can do to stop Michael Mayer.
That's a great comfort blanket.
Very much so. So
and then on top of that, he has the experience and the wildly veteran understanding that, look, I'm throwing it up if all else fails because I know our team is more talented than most teams we're going to play this year.
Yeah.
You couldn't say that with Wisconsin. You look at Wisconsin's secondary receivers right now, you would think they was a junior college team. But with a quarterback that's been around that and knowing the importance of playmaking ability, he sees what he has with these Notre Dame guys. And I think he's probably going to play a lot better than he would even if he was at Wisconsin this year.
So tight end Kevin Bauman was injured. Had surgery this past week, looking at him being out 6 to 8 weeks. Blake Fisher, the freshman left tackle, meniscus surgery procedure done, 6 to 8 weeks for him as well. That's the blow. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, man.
Well, he's a true freshman. He only played a couple snaps, so.
Yeah, but he was better than his backup. That's the whole point.
But we'll find out. He was better in practice, but with a whole season ahead of him, I look at a lot of the.
You saw the game.
I look at a lot of the.
He was better in that game.
But think about how Notre Dame does guys in situations like this. Obviously he's more talented, and that's why he started. But you get a kid.
Quinn has to coach him up.
But you get a kid who's not as good, but's got the whole season to figure it out.
Yeah.
Over a kid who's got more talent but doesn't have the experience. It'll be interesting to see how Notre Dame handles that situation.
Well, I think he's just holding the spot 6 weeks.
Yeah, but Notre Dame's gonna win 10 games and he's gonna be there the whole time, blocking a whole bunch of good defense ends this year. So
it bodes well too, because he gets the experience, and then when Blake comes back.
Coach Kelly isn't great on making decisions like that.
I'm not even gonna go down that road.
But either way, Blake Fisher's a great talent, and that 6 to 8 weeks isn't the whole season. So hopefully he gets back and at least gets in enough playing shape to help us out if we get close to those playoffs.
So I'm assuming that you feel like Blake Fisher should immediately get his starting spot back when he comes back from injury.
Well, he started as a true freshman for a reason. I don't think that changed just over a 6-week period, but Notre Dame's just a different place, man. That next man mentality is real, and you a top 5 program in the country. There's not a lot of loyalty involved in a lot of those places.
Jason Campbell, he brings his Toledo Rockets into South Bend Stadium on Saturday afternoon, and I'm interested in your thoughts because we talked about Michael Mayer, and we saw the Florida State basically loaded up to stop Kyron and Chris Tyree, right, and stop the Notre Dame run game and force Jack Cohn to beat them, which he was able to do. Now that you have Jack Cohn on tape with those weapons, that wide receiver core, and a weapon that you don't have anybody on that roster that can defend Michael Mayer, do you come in with the same game plan of, hey, we're going to stop the run game and force Jack Cohn to do it 2 weeks in a row? And then if you do that, you're going single coverage on Michael Mayer, or you're doubling him with the linebacker and the safety. It's like, from your point of view, if you're Jason Campbell, like, what are you trying to do to stop this offense that put up 41 points? And I feel like they sputtered.
Well, I'm convinced that, you got to show me twice before you really believe that we're just some air raid, Michael Mayer-based offense. I don't think that's our identity. Like I said last week, I believe Tommy will coach week to week, and it'll be a different scheme on how we go about it. He probably wants to be more balanced than anything. So I think Toledo, from looking at the game plan and the stat sheet from last week, you'll see they ran him through pretty equally. Their whole thing is, if you're a smaller team playing a team that's obviously more talented than you on paper and probably on film, is I'm throwing everything I got at him. I'm blitzing him. I'm showing him all type of crazy looks, maybe even running some stuff I usually don't. Due to just the environment, you're playing at the stadium that's hungry. There hasn't been a full stadium in 2 years, and you're Toledo, Mac school. So everybody don't think you're going to win anyway. So this would be a great chance for us to highlight some things that will probably be unconventional for that Toledo team this season. And that happens all the time with us when these teams come in and look like Super Bowl teams, when we look on film and they're having a hard time versus teams that they shouldn't, So just expect anything when you're going against a team that's less talented.
On the flip side, the chances that Tommy Reeves, in that fresh paper he has to start the game, out of the first 25 plays, he has 15 runs. What's the chances of that happening?
Pretty high. I think Tommy wants to focus on getting on them early and trying to, edge them out before the second half where they can linger around. So we'll probably see a heavy dose of some Kyron and some play action down the field. I think more shots than last week down the field, just because we got the talent for it with Kevin Austin out there and then Braden Lindsey. And so the good thing about our offense is that we can attack from many different angles. And I think this week could be a heavy run, play action, get the ball down the field.
All right, so it's not Malik in the quarter. I mean, it's not Jack Cohn in the quarterback room. It's Malik Zaire in the quarterback room. And he's sitting with Tommy Reeves coming off that Florida State game. What is he telling Tommy? Yo, this is what we can do that we didn't get to in game one.
I think he did a pretty good job of just being everybody spreading the ball out and having a good relationship with Jack on some of those third down calls where y'all got some trust there, where it may not be the typical third down call, but y'all on the same page. And I think the more you continue to do that on film, it'll be harder to scheme on third down.
Yeah.
Allow us to run some more maybe conventional things in different situations, considering we might just throw it deep on 3rd and 5.
Right.
It'll keep guys on their toes, and as long as they keep that up and Jack continues his confidence in taking those shots on short distances and downs, then I think we'll be very versatile in continuing drives this season.
So for Jack Cohn, do you think it's something that in his mind he feels like he's going to have to throw the ball that many times every game? or do you just feel like Notre Dame and Tommy Reeves will just kind of fashion everything based upon the opponent and shape the game plan upon the based upon the opponent? Or do you feel like they feel like, hey, we can do this against everybody?
I think it'd be arrogant to think we can do it versus everybody because we know that Jack's not the most athletic guy in the world behind the position to.
And you're going to face tougher fronts.
Right. So, like we said, Florida State's an unranked team. This was not a top 10 matchup game where we pulled out an overtime victory. So, we'll be fooling ourselves to think that Jack is the end-all, be-all for what we can do on offense. However, I do believe just the more comfortable they get throughout the season, he'll have more control and have more things that he likes specifically on certain downs and distances. And Tommy's a pretty reasonable guy. I don't think he'll have a authoritarian view on how they should run the offense.
You know what? You made it during our wrap-up show. You made a very good point. And the relationship between Tommy Reeves and Jack Cohn, you said basically Tommy Reeves is really coaching himself.
Like, all the things that Tommy didn't get to run, I think this is his what do you call it, full circle.
Yeah.
He gets to coach a guy that's very similar to him. Same type of mentality. They damn near almost look alike, you know. So he probably feels really good in that position and probably more connected to Jack on just another level where he understands the skill set more than he would like Brandon Wimbush or me or something. So I think this is a great fit for him. And then Coach Kelly trusts Tommy like his son. So I think Coach Kelly feels better going into games, not second guessing and questioning some of the calls that are coming out because Coach Kelly loved everything he gave Tommy and they had a great relationship as well.
Yeah, it's so easy to fashion a playbook and a game plan when it's basically you that you see setting the game plan up for, you know. And I agree with you. When you made the point, I was like, yo, I never looked at it like that. Like, you're right. He really is coaching himself. It's almost like somebody making you play with your squad on NCAA or Madden.
Tommy's Madden.
Right. But then they tell you at the beginning of the game, you can't use the playbook you use.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, hold on, wait a minute.
That's
like,
right.
This is what I'm used to. Like, I know how to run this. I know exactly what I want to do in every situation. Now you want to make me switch playbooks. So you're right. When it's a quarterback, you know, coaching a quarterback that has different skill sets, you know, that is a task to be able to open or unlock all the gifts and talents that they have, rather than coach somebody that's very similar to the talents that you had when you were on the field and sees everything just like you saw it. So
maybe that's just a microcosm too.
Yeah.
Just the misunderstanding of black quarterbacks. Like when they were talking about, we'll talk about later, Cam, nobody with a football mind would really believe that Mac was teaching this man the offensive playbook. So I do have some comments about that, but just the foolishness. But I do think Josh McDaniels can probably see himself in a Mac Jones. And they got a different connection on what flows with play calling in the game.
Yeah.
There's no way Josh McDaniels can put himself in Cam's shoes and be like, what would Cam feel most comfortable with? One, he's way smaller, way more athletic, way not as great a hair. You
right.
know, everything is different. So
right.
I feel like it'd just be and it looked like it was different. It was different calls between the two quarterbacks when we were looking at preseason, and even with the calls, it just looked like it was a struggle to find something to get Cam to show all his talents on.
Yep. All right. Next, we'll talk about this game. 3 keys. Give me your 3 keys for the dub on Saturday.
3 keys for the dub is simple. You know, squeak them out in the first half as a team. You know, don't let them linger around to the second half because this is a team that usually puts up 40, 50 points in their own league. So they're not ashamed of finding a way to get in that end zone. Another point would be defense. I want to see that secondary make some more interceptions outside of Kyle this week. Let's see who else is talented in that secondary and can support Kyle when he's making these plays in the back end. And then last but not least, I just want to see more of what we were doing on offense on scoring points. Can we put up another 40-point performance in back-to-back weeks. I think that'll be refreshing for the fans and something that we haven't seen consistently offensively. I mean, we've been in offensive purgatory for the last 5 years, even though we've been a great team.
Yeah.
So it'll be good to see another 40-point game coming from our offense.
All right. That is Malik's 3 keys for a dub on Saturday in South Bend. When we come back, we're going to get into the path to greatness and the strain that it takes to stay on top. We'll talk about it coming up next. Lucky Lefty Podcast, Shaun Davis and Malik Zaire. All right. I'll go through the Naomi Osaka, and then we can get right to Cam Newton, and we should probably be done right about an hour.
Get it. Let's go.
Here we go. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in. It is the Lucky Lefty Podcast. I am Shaun Davis. You can follow me at SD2 Mics on Twitter and Instagram. That's your boy Malik Zaire. He has multiple tags on Twitter and Instagram. Let the people know where they can follow you.
Just Malik Zaire anywhere. Overtime Malik on Instagram. Follow your boy. We got the good content, especially on game days.
Yo, man, I'm talking about all types of content, like putting together grills.
Hey,
holiday. Look, people, man. Let me give you a bit of advice, especially to my brothers out there, man. If you have the grill for your people, don't go get the grill the day of, okay? No.
Are you gonna be eating real late at night?
That means you have to rush the preparation of the meat. Now, thankfully, you could have somebody else in the household doing that stuff, preparing the meat, seasoning it, getting it right for the grill. But the level of frustration that you will experience trying to put together the grill on the day of.
Yeah. And it's even more frustrating when you're reading the pictures and it ain't making sense.
And the pictures don't match. The pictures don't match. Absolutely.
You swear they didn't add to it.
Right. Yeah, and then you have to make sure you have the right tools to put everything together, because the tools they give you are so small and minute. It's like, man, it's the worst thing ever.
Keebler elves were supposed to put this together, man. Well, helpers or something, man.
So if you go to official Malik this week, you will learn not to put together a grill on the holiday.
Just order a pizza, big fella.
Man, or something. Ace Hardware. I think Ace Hardware assembles them for you. No,
that's the thing. No man wants to see another man build his grill.
I do. At this point,
in front of his family.
I'm done. I'm done, bro. I've done grills. I've done smokers. I've done doll houses. I've done bikes. I'm done. I'm retired from assembling anything in life. I've done it all, man. I don't want to do it anymore.
You pay an extra fee.
I am quite comfortable with myself as a man at this point in my life.
Yeah, don't strain it over having a hammer in there.
So you go ahead, bro. You go ahead and you do your thing.
I'm okay. I'm with that. I can be okay with that.
You're listening to the Lucky Lefty Podcast with Malik Zaire.
Never will there ever be another like me. You can play the left because it ain't no right in me.
And Shaun Davis.